Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest-based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description.
Hello everybody and welcome to the All or Nothing podcast with myself, Billy Moore, and today's special guest is none other than UFC veteran Luke Barnatt. Luke, thanks for coming on. I feel right out of my comfort zone because we're both in Turkey at the moment. Tell us a little bit about your career because you started early.
Yeah, well, early-ish. I started fighting when I was 19, so quite late in my life, but it was 16 years ago for me now, so I would say I'm a veteran of the sport. I've been around for a very, very long time, and I excelled very, very quickly in the sport. And I was very fortunate that the first gym that I trained at was a gym called the Tsunami Gym in Cambridge. And we had two very elite guys there, a guy named Robbie Olivier and John Maguire at the time when I first joined. And John made it to the UFC himself. So it's like, although I started at 19, like quite older for mixed martial arts now, I started straight away, like on the perfect path, learning the perfect way for that time. So I excelled very, very quickly and made it to the top, like quick. You know, and from my professional debut, I had 10 amateur fights, then I had a professional debut. And from that debut to fight in the UFC, it took me 22 months, which is like lightning fast. I was fully dedicated to the game, and I think that showed from my career. But yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago to me now, to be honest.
What weight was your best at?
Best? Well, it's a bit of a debate, but I definitely have a better record and fought a higher level as a middleweight, 85 pounds or 84 kilos. But I'm 6'6", so to fight a middleweight is not easy. But I think if I'd have decided, the problem because I moved up so quickly, I always thought I had to be a middleweight. I was making huge cuts, like 97 kilos down to 84 kilos in 24 hours,
Wow.
losing 12, 13 kilos in water, doing all this crazy shit. And I think because of that, it stunted my growth as an athlete on the athletic side, becoming bigger, becoming stronger. And then I eventually, just because of age and everything else, I had to change to a light heavyweight, which is 93 kilos. So it's a 9 kilo discrepancy. And to do that, I felt like I was competing against a different species of human when I was fighting these guys, because they were doing what I was doing, but they were coming down from 115, 120 to fight at 93. So there's quite a famous guy called Alexander Gustafsson. He was like a Swedish fighter. And I've been a training partner of his for about 15 years. And when you train with him, when he grabs you, it just feels like a different species, you know? So I always used to put myself up against him, and I feel like my athletic prime was squashed because I cut so much weight to fight a middleweight. But when I fought a middleweight, I was a fucking monster. So it is what it is.
So you went up against a good friend of yours, Andrew Tate, as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in the day. I mean, that was a long, long time ago. That was my second amateur fight. It's quite a funny story, but my first ever fight I'd been training. Basically, I started fighting MMA because of my mate Jack. Me and Jack used to work doors together. I thought I could beat him up because I was a giant and he was only 5'10", and he was a big guy, but whatever. And I made like a bit of a joke. So he brought me down to the gym, and I got beaten up by a guy called Robbie Olivier. He was 5'5". I don't want to say, maybe he's 5'6".
Yeah.
He's short, small, used to fight a featherweight. You know, he's a small guy, beat the hell out of me. Then I realized, okay, I need to learn how to do this, started training, doing whatever. And then I had my first fight. So I'd never done anything before. Started training with Jack, went to Tsunami, had my first amateur fight maybe 6 months after that. Maybe it was, I don't know, quickly.
Quick, it was fast, yeah. 6 months.
And I had my first fight. I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't fight whatsoever. I can see myself in my head. I was like nervous walking into the cage. I was like stiff, you know, like proper, like didn't know what was going on. And I just remember my mouth like opening and closing. And I fought a guy called Alan Packman in Southend. And first round he come out and I still don't have my hands up. But back then my hands used to be down here. And he used to hit me with overhand rights, which has been my detriment for a long, long time. And he hit me and he hit me and he hit me. And I lost the first round, and I went back to my corner, and I thought I'd broken my jaw. So I said to Robbie, my coach, I said, I think I broke my jaw. And he said, open your mouth. And he went, no, you just cracked a tooth. You'll be fine.
Get back in.
Get back in. I went back in. I won by TKO or knockout like in the next couple of minutes. I come back. My coach, Robbie, gave me a hug. He said, well done, mate. We need to go to the hospital because you broke your jaw. So I'd broken my jaw in the first round and he set me out in the second to beat the guy and I won. And I was all messed up. So that just kind of shows you the like mentality of my team and my coach, all that sort of stuff. So I had that fight. It was before Christmas, broke my jaw. I had to have Christmas for a straw and all that crap. And then about 4 months later, so I was still in the gym every day, had a broken jaw, but I was watching all the classes, doing all I could do. But then 4 months later, I had another fight in Southend against Andrew Tate. And my coach at the time, a guy called Nigel Burgess, he said, oh, don't worry about him. He's just a kickboxer. You'll be fine. Just take him down. It'll be all right. And found out he was a British champion kickboxer who'd had about 42 fights. It was my second amateur fight. It was his second amateur fight or first amateur fight in MMA. But he said, it's just a kickboxer, just take him down. Tried to take him down, couldn't take him down. I did take him down, he got back up. He took me down because it turned out there was a black belt in judo as well. So he was a pretty athletic, good, strong fighter. We had a great fight, fought out to decision, and he beat me by decision. Then after that, we became mates and he started training with me to help me prepare for other fights because he was an extremely elite level kickboxer. Like he became a 4-time world champion and he was living the fighter's life like we all were, broke, like helping each other out. And he helped me. I remember I was fighting a guy called Andrew Craig in the UFC and he came up to Cambridge to help train with me. And from the sparring session, I left with like a completely black leg from all these low kicks that he'd kicked me with because he's very, very talented at the low kick. But anyway, so my life went on, career went on, and Andrew did his thing. He became a world champion. I got to UFC. We both, did fairly well. And obviously in the other realms of life, Tate's gone on to be who he is today. So.
Yeah, well, at the minute, right, he's probably the most famous man on the planet, right? And he's one of your good friends, and we spoke about this the other day because, it's quite controversial what's been going on in Romania. Is it Romania? It is, isn't it? Yeah. At the moment. And what are your thoughts on that? Because you know better than anyone, and people can just talk about what they think they know or what they've heard, and it's like Chinese whispers. But what's your story and your opinion?
I mean, it's all kind of Chinese whispers. Even so, the whole thing is fabricated, in my opinion. If you look at it and you go through all the facts, even the charges that he's been charged with that have put him into prison in Romania are not. There's no evidence to back them up. Yeah. You can read the reports. I actually posted about this recently. And if you go through all the facts and look at all of the actual evidence, there is none. They've just been charged and they're being held for these charges. So they haven't been convicted. They haven't been proven guilty. They have none of that. They're just being held because they've been charged. So in Romania, they can hold you for 30 days without charging you. And then after those 30 days, they can review it and they can hold you for another 30 days. And they can do this for, I believe, up to 6 months. Yeah. So without him being charged of anything, he's been accused of these crimes and he's been taken to prison and they have no evidence to back it up. And his lawyers have presented the fact they have no evidence and they keep shutting him down. I believe he's just been put in for another 30 days. So he's got another trial on February 27th. But without a doubt, it'll all come out that it was all bullshit and nothing happened. They're just trying to damage his image by doing this. And
why do you think they're trying to damage his image? What do you think it's...
Well, he's speaking freedom. He's speaking truth. He's telling the people that, he's having the youth stand up and be who they want to be and, resist the slave mind. That's his whole thing.
See, I didn't really know, to be honest, I never really knew much about Andrew Tate until recently when it started to blow up and I've seen, the controversial disagreements with the True Geordie, then, I've seen posts by the Lab Bible and I've seen, so it gets about, and I've watched a few videos and I watched out, which was quite interesting, how he finished this feminist off in, seconds on a question. And this guy's very intelligent, he's quite clever in the way he conveys and articulates himself. Is he just about, because you know him better than anyone else, is he more about like freeing the mind and being a bit more like liberated in your life?
100%. I mean, Tate's message at its core is incredible. Like what he stands for and who he is. All he wants is men to be free, be able to freedom of speech, be strong, and improve themselves and become better men. That's all he's asking people to do. But he does it in a very fun, entertaining way that maybe upsets the feminists, as you said, and people like this. But he's just trying to show us, show his character in an entertaining way. It's gone too far in the media's eyes, and they're upset for certain things that he said. But most of the things that you see, and most of the clips that you see on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, are snippets of moments of him discussing topics. So it's very easy to make someone look bad or make someone seem like they're saying something, especially when you're saying controversial things, but then you're slicing it up to make it look really, really bad.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with social media these days. Nothing. See, I'll be straight. I had an interview with Channel 4 a few years ago, and from the beginning to the end, and I was talking about the contributing factors that led up to where I was and the behaviour and stuff like that, mental health, addiction, and they just assassinated my character within minutes. They didn't go right through the whole edit. They cut a lot out, and when it was shown, and I watched it, I was thinking, "Oh, you cheeky!" Honestly, God, I'll never speak to them again. The way they just they put me down and avoided the real stuff that was going on. Now, I only know from reading comments and seeing like bits myself how people can judge and say things. I don't know. Maybe it's like, I mean, what was it that I was thinking? It was I can't really recall what was said. He was all for like keeping women slaves, and is that true? Is that what? Is that just his way?
I mean, again, it comes down to context. So. There's none of that. It's just he has a certain character when it comes to being a man. So when he always says, or he said to me, is like, he'll say things in a way he says a fact that you cannot disagree with.
Yeah.
But he will say it in a way that will upset the person, so they go off on a spiral. So I'll give you an example. The fact that he'll be trying to make is men are physically stronger than women. And you can't disagree with men being physically stronger. I mean, some lefties might, but you can't disagree with that fact. So, but he wouldn't say it like that. Yeah. He would say, women are weak. I could beat up 100 women. Yeah. Women are weak. And everyone would be like, oh, you can't say that. And he'd be like, what? So women aren't, and it would get people on the upset them on the back foot. Yeah. And so that's how he speaks and how he gets his message across in an entertaining way. And some of those clips where he's been talking about women being weak or blah, 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 he's obviously been entertaining, and they've been sliced up, and they make him look like this misogynist or whatever.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
But what he believes in is traditional values and traditional gender roles and all these sort of things that they're trying to wipe out us. They're trying to wipe out the family. They're trying to wipe out, this whole traditional values.
Yeah,
so it's up to you if you want to. Again, it's like everything he says. It's up to you if you want to believe it. If you want to follow the lefties and do what they want to do, that's fine. If you want to follow the, traditional values of having a wife and having male gender roles and female gender roles, that's your choice.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, gender political snowflakes at the moment. I'll totally agree with that, because I'm not too keen on the idea of and there's me, there's you, there's him, and there's her, simple as stuff like that. Yeah. But then it becomes it. I'll identify myself as, a lampshade, and I think that's where are we going as a civilization, as a population, and I don't know. There's a lot of.
I think that's the rebellion. That's what this is. I think that's what this whole driving force is, and why Tate is so popular, is because people don't get it. People like me and you.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't get it, mate.
How you can identify as a lampshade. Yeah. Or use that as a bit of an extreme example. I don't get it. I don't understand how it even exists. So people like me and you are drawn, and there's millions of us, especially young men, that are drawn to a figure like Tate that just says, no, that's all bullshit. Yeah. I'm a man. This blah, blah, blah. And he has that strong character to back it up. I think that's what the emphasis of it is. I think that's why people are they jump on it so quickly. Yeah. And that's what makes the gender politics and all that sort of stuff. That's what makes it so combative.
Yeah, well, I see even Walt Disney's gone a little bit downhill for me, because I watched something, with the kids a few months ago, and I was like, whoa, turning this off. Right, straight away, I was on what it was all about. First of all, it was this, and then it was that, and then it was leading into something else, and then you've got kids asking questions, and they're only young, 6 years old. I'm thinking, no, this is not giving people choices. This is forcing their opinions and their way of life, and you can be whoever you want, and it's okay to be this way. I think, no, you don't go to school to be taught that kind of stuff. You know, you go there, you learn your English, your maths, and all the stuff that you need to get through life, and then you go to university or college or whatever, and you crack on, and then you learn and you form your own opinions and form your own decisions, but at an early age. So I think there's a lot going on out there that needs fucking addressing, and I think in all fairness, that's what Tate is doing. And what's this big movement with Greta? Is it Greta Thunberg?
Greta Thunberg, what's all the beef with Andrew and Greta?
I think she's just the face of the movement. She's the face of leftism and feminism and everything. It's mainly it's all about looking after the planet and all this stuff. So, but she's the face. She's the golden child that you don't touch. He made a bit of a joke on social media about her. They had a bit of a back and forth, and then he got arrested. And they're trying to put it on like, oh, don't insult Greta, otherwise you're gonna. But I think it's completely irrelevant. I think they were already planning it, and it just kind of happened, and the internet took over, and the internet has fun, and it was a funny little side story.
Yeah, who's asked about it? Hey, so yeah, it's nice to get to the opportunity to talk about like your side and your thoughts, and as your friendship with Andrew, so a little bit more than the normal bod.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to go on about it loads and loads and loads, but it's like it's very hard to say my personal relationship and everything. I don't want it to be misconstrued. But for me, look at the facts. So forget me being personally a friend with him. Go and actually look at the hard facts of what's going on, and don't think, oh, well, Luke's pro-Tate, so he's saying pro-Tate things. Yeah. So no, if you go on the internet and you actually do a little bit of research, don't watch TikTok videos, don't watch Instagram, and even just go on Google and find me some evidence that backs up these claims that have been made, then I'll be the first one to put my hands up. I know the guy 15 plus years. Yeah. I know this is all bullshit, but find me some evidence and maybe I'm wrong. But there is none. That's it. So forget I'm pro-Tate, I'm his mate, all these things. Go out there, do a little bit of Googling and find me some evidence. And
that's what you need to do, get out there and do a little bit of Googling. So, okay, so moving on. So I've met you here in Turkey, and we're both investing in our well-being, so to speak, and trying to look a little bit better as we get on. So why are you here?
Well, yeah, I think like you said, touching on it, I think I made a huge investment in myself to come out here. It's been a week or 7 days, get my teeth done, get myself looking on point. And I think now as we move forward, image and the way you look and how you feel, and it all kind of rolls into one thing. And I kind of like just did this on a bit of a whim, like, oh, I'll come down, no problem, whatever. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like super happy I was getting it done. I was like, it doesn't really matter. And then I got my teeth done, and I was like, okay, now I feel pretty good. Like it has a huge impact on me, and it's a much bigger thing than I kind of gave it credit for. Yeah. And I was trying to downplay it, but I think I was downplaying it because I had bad teeth. Yeah. Now I've got good teeth. I'm going to play it up.
Did you feel ashamed or embarrassed or a fear of people are judging you because you'd been to Turkey and have that, hey, he is Turkey teeth? You know what I mean? Because for me, I had that same conception or mispreconception, and I seen a friend, John May, and I thought, fucking hell, you look well. Where'd you get them? He said, me mate Chris, do you look Turkey? Get yourself over there, I'll have a chat with him. And he did, and now I'm here. And I think it's the best thing I did, because, my teeth have been in my head for 50 years. Although they were still okay, they were just old. And they were deteriorating. I could see them lasted not much longer. I bumped into you, and, your teeth look incredible. I never seen them before, so I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure I can get a look at the pictures later.
Well, I think it's because now, since I've been fighting, and the mentality that I grew in the fight game, the 15 years of hard work that I put in and discipline, and all these things that I think young men lack these days, which is another part of Tate's message, like work hard, improve yourself, do all these sort of things, invest in yourself. This is a part of me investing in myself by doing this. And I now like teach on the side as well, mentality coaching. That's what I do through my Instagram and all this sort of stuff. And you say about, was I worried about comments from other people? I believe I've got like a bulletproof mindset, and those sort of things don't affect me. But the way you look and your image is such a personal thing that I mean, I'm married. I've got a couple of kids. I'm not like, it's not the same. But your energy, like I get a bit woo-woo. I believe in like energy and protecting your energy and only spending time with good people and only taking on the opinions of good people to try and boost to this energy. And me now in the morning when I wake up, as silly as it sounds, and I would never have put value on it. When I look in the mirror and I look at my smile, I feel like I've got more energy. You know, like I feel like it has a huge, you know, advantage for me. And recently there's a guy in Dubai that I've been hanging around a lot with, and he says investing in yourself and buying the right clothes and looking the right way and getting your teeth done. He says the ROI, the return of investment on these things, you can't. There's not a metric you can measure it on, but it's incredible. And I think when I meet people and I dress a certain way and I look a certain way and I talk a certain way, I think it does. The ROI is like huge.
Brilliant. And with that, big shout out to New Look for giving us the opportunity to sit down in their little space and use the podcast. I'll put all your descriptions. Chris, he's in the background. I'll put his description and where to find him within the description. Yeah. And Chris, thank you. Luke, it was a pleasure chatting with you, a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for coming on.
Nice one, Billy. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And maybe next time we'll do a longer one and have a proper chat.
Defo, thank you. That was brilliant, that mate.